Listen to me. Success does not come to the ones who wait. It comes to the ones who are willing to sacrifice. People talk about dreams, but dreams don't become reality without sleepless nights. You want to build something great. You want to change your life. Then you have to understand that comfort and greatness don't live in the same house. While others are sleeping, you must be working. While others are resting, you must be grinding. The world rewards those who are relentless, who are obsessed, who are willing to pay the price. It takes sweat, it takes discipline, and it takes night after night where you fight your own fatigue because your vision is stronger than your tiredness. You can't build a strong body, a strong mind, or a strong future without pushing past exhaustion. The nights when you feel like giving up are the nights that shape your destiny. Success is not about balance, it's about obsession. It's about wanting it so badly that you can't sleep because your goals are calling you. Every champion, every leader, every game changer has spent countless nights awake, working when no one was watching. That's the difference between average and legendary. You have to be willing to go all in. You have to be willing to sacrifice your comfort for your future. Sacrifice comfort to build greatness is the mindset that separates those who live an ordinary life from those who push into extraordinary. Comfort feels safe, it feels easy, it feels good in the moment, but greatness never comes from staying in that zone. When you choose comfort over growth, you are choosing the temporary over the permanent. You are choosing short-term ease over long-term legacy. Every great achievement in history has been born from someone's willingness to suffer, to endure, to step outside what felt easy, and to embrace what felt painful. The human body and mind are designed to adapt only when they are challenged, only when they are tested. If you stay comfortable, you stay the same. And if you stay the same, you never rise. Greatness requires pain, it requires sacrifice, and it requires the discipline to walk away from the things that make you soft, so that you can chase the things that make you strong. Think about what comfort really means. Comfort means sleeping in instead of getting up early to train, to work, to study. Comfort means watching hours of television instead of grinding toward your vision. Comfort means staying silent when you know you should speak, holding back when you know you should push, and sitting still when you know you should move. Comfort tricks you into believing you have time, that tomorrow you will work harder, tomorrow you will get serious, but tomorrow is a lie. The people who achieve greatness know that today is all that matters. They give up the soft pillow, the warm blanket, the easy road, because they understand that comfort kills ambition. If you want to become something more than average, you must sacrifice comfort every single day. The path of greatness is littered with sacrifices that no one else sees. You give up nights out with friends. You give up hours of leisure. You give up the false security of routine. And in exchange you gain growth, strength, and vision. When people look at a champion, they see the medals, the titles, the glory. But they don't see the nights of pain, the early mornings, the aching muscles, the hours of study, the countless times of saying no to comfort. That is the real price, and it is always paid in silence. It is paid in the dark when no one is watching. Greatness is never free. It is always purchased by those who are willing to sacrifice. Sacrifice is not glamorous. It's lonely, it's exhausting, and it will test every ounce of your willpower. There will be times when your body screams for rest, when your mind begs for a break, when your spirit wants to give up, and that is where the decision happens. Do you surrender to comfort, or do you push through and demand greatness from yourself? Every time you choose to sacrifice comfort, you are casting a vote for the person you want to become. You are forging yourself in fire, and that fire burns away weakness. People will not understand why you wake up early, why you stay late, why you refuse to take it easy, but you don't need them to understand. You don't need their approval. You need their doubt. You need their disbelief, because that fuels you to prove them wrong. The sacrifice of comfort builds resilience. It makes you sharp when others grow dull. It makes you hungry when others grow lazy. It makes you unstoppable when others quit. Comfort creates softness, but sacrifice creates steel. And greatness requires steel. When you look at the best in the world, whether it's athletes, leaders, creators, or innovators, they all share the same trait. They gave up comfort to gain mastery. They worked when it hurt. They trained when it was inconvenient. They studied when it was boring. They kept going when everyone else stopped. They refused to be comfortable because they wanted to be great. Sacrificing comfort is not just about physical pain, it is about mental strength. It's about saying no to distractions, no to temptations, no to the easy way out. It's about being willing to be misunderstood, ridiculed, or doubted. It's about staying focused on the bigger picture while others chase small pleasures. The world is full of people who wanted greatness but chose comfort instead, and that is why so few ever achieve extraordinary success. If you want to separate yourself from the crowd, you must be willing to pay the price that others are not willing to pay. You must sacrifice comfort over and over again until sacrifice becomes your normal and comfort feels like weakness. In every moment of decision, you will have two voices inside you. One will whisper for comfort, telling you to rest, to relax, to take it easy, to stop pushing. The other will roar for greatness, telling you to rise, to grind, to fight, to keep going. The one you feed will dominate your life. If you feed comfort, you will get mediocrity. If you feed sacrifice, you will get greatness. It is not complicated, but it is not easy, and that is why so few achieve it. Because most people want greatness as long as it's convenient, as long as it's comfortable, as long as it doesn't demand too much. But greatness demands everything. It demands you give up what feels good now for what will last forever. The truth is, comfort is temporary, but greatness is eternal. Comfort fades, it disappears the moment you chase it. But the sacrifices you make for greatness will stand forever. No one will remember the nights you slept comfortably, but they will remember the legacy you built from sacrifice. Every day is a choice, and the choice is simple: comfort or greatness. One will make you soft, the other will make you strong. One will give you regret, the other will give you pride. One will make you forgettable, the other will make you unforgettable. Work while others are sleeping is the principle that defines discipline and separates the committed from the casual. The world is full of people who want success, but are not willing to work for it when it is inconvenient, when it is uncomfortable, or when no one else is watching. That's why the ones who go beyond average are the ones who take advantage of the hours that others waste. The night when most people close their eyes and drift into comfort, that is the time for you to sharpen your edge, to grind, to put in the work that builds mastery. The morning when most people hit the snooze button, that is the time for you to rise, to train, to study, to push forward. Success belongs to the ones who refuse to sleep on their dreams. Every empire ever built was constructed brick by brick, in moments when the rest of the world wasn't paying attention. The hours you spend working while others are resting accumulate, they compound, they create momentum that can't be matched by anyone who chooses the easy path. Working while others are sleeping is not about robbing yourself of rest, it's about robbing yourself of excuses. You don't allow yourself to say "I didn't have time" because you created time. You carved it out of the hours everyone else threw away. That is what makes you unstoppable. People will look at you and think you have some kind of advantage, but the truth is your advantage is simple. You were willing to do what they would not do. The world does not reward wishes, it rewards effort. When you stay up late studying while others scroll through distractions, you are building knowledge they will never have. When you wake up early to train while others sleep in, you are building strength they will never know. When you write, build, create, design, practice, work during the quiet hours, you are stacking victory on top of victory while your competition snoozes. The silence of the night becomes your ally. The stillness of the morning becomes your weapon. You transform time into results and results into progress. Working while others are sleeping demands sacrifice, but it gives you leverage. It gives you hours that no one else touches. Those hours are pure, free from interruptions, free from noise, free from distraction. In that silence you can focus deeper, push harder, create more. That focus is a multiplier. It makes you twice as effective, 3 times as fast, 10 times as powerful. Most people don't even realize what can be accomplished when the world is quiet because they never tried. They were too busy chasing comfort, too busy wasting their nights, too busy sleeping in their mornings. That's why you leave them behind. There is something powerful about knowing you are working when others are not. It builds confidence, it builds pride, it builds a hunger that keeps driving you. You know that when the competition shows up, you've already put in more hours, more reps, more effort, more sacrifice. That knowledge gives you an unshakable edge. It allows you to walk into any challenge with certainty because you know you've outworked them. Talent may be equal, resources may be equal, but the work you put in while others were asleep makes you unequal in results. People will call you obsessed, they will call you crazy, they will ask why you don't just relax, why you don't just live like everyone else. They don't understand because they can't see your vision. They can't feel the fire that drives you. They can't hear the voice in your head that tells you to keep moving, keep grinding, keep fighting. They see the hours you sacrifice and think you are missing out, but what they don't realize is that they are the ones missing out. They are missing out on their potential, missing out on their greatness, missing out on the life they could have had if they had been willing to work when it was hardest. Working while others are sleeping also tests your discipline because it is not easy. It is not easy to pull yourself out of bed when the world is dark. It is not easy to keep your eyes open and your mind sharp when fatigue creeps in. It is not easy to say no to rest, no to comfort, no to the temptation of ease. But in those hard choices is where strength is built. Every time you force yourself to work instead of sleep, you are hardening your willpower. You are proving to yourself that your goals matter more than your excuses. That self-belief becomes unbreakable, and unbreakable self-belief is the foundation of greatness. The truth is, the difference between ordinary and extraordinary is hidden in those quiet hours. Ordinary people use them to rest. Extraordinary people use them to rise. Ordinary people waste them. Extraordinary people invest them. Ordinary people sleep through opportunities. Extraordinary people create opportunities while the world is silent. Every time you choose to work while others are sleeping, you are pulling yourself further away from the pack. You are creating a gap that they can never close because while they are dreaming, you are building your reality. Think about this. The clock doesn't stop, time doesn't wait, and the world doesn't slow down. Every second counts. You can use those seconds to sleep, or you can use them to sharpen yourself, to chase your vision, to build your future. Success doesn't care about how tired you are. It only cares about what you are willing to do. Working while others are sleeping is the ultimate proof of commitment, the ultimate display of hunger, the ultimate act of discipline. It's how you tell the world that nothing will stop you, not even the comfort of sleep, not even the lure of rest, not even the weakness of excuses. Obsession is stronger than tiredness because when your vision is burning so deeply inside of you, no level of exhaustion can shut it down. Tiredness is a feeling, obsession is a force. Tiredness tells you to stop. Obsession commands you to keep going. Tiredness whispers that you've done enough. Obsession roars that enough will never be enough until the mission is complete. When you are obsessed, your body may ache, your eyes may close, your energy may run low, but your mind refuses to quit. That relentless focus becomes your fuel. It pushes you through fatigue, through doubt, through every wall that stands in your way. Obsession is not just wanting something, it is needing it with every part of who you are. And when that fire burns, no weakness can hold you down. People who are tired without obsession stop at the first sign of struggle. They let fatigue decide their limits. They let discomfort dictate their effort. But those who are obsessed go further. They dig deeper. They find energy when there is none left, because they are not driven by how they feel. They are driven by what they must achieve. Obsession transforms you into someone unrecognizable to the average person. It makes you push past human limits. It makes you chase results when your body begs for rest. It makes you sacrifice sleep, comfort, and convenience without hesitation. You are not counting the hours. You are not counting the costs, because the only thing that matters is the vision in front of you. Tiredness is temporary. It comes and it goes, but obsession is permanent. It stays alive as long as the dream is alive. When the alarm clock rings before dawn, tiredness will tell you to stay in bed. Obsession will throw you out of it. When your muscles are sore and your body wants to quit, tiredness says stop. Obsession says one more rep. When your mind tells you that you failed too many times, tiredness will agree and push you toward surrender. Obsession will scream louder and force you to keep fighting until you win. That's the power of obsession. It makes tiredness irrelevant. It makes excuses useless. It makes quitting impossible. Obsession is the reason legends are built. Every champion, every innovator, every leader that has left a mark on this world has been obsessed beyond logic. They worked when they had nothing left in the tank. They stayed up nights chasing solutions. They pushed through hunger, through pain, through exhaustion, because they were not chasing comfort, they were chasing greatness. Ordinary ambition cannot defeat tiredness. Only obsession can. Ambition fades when you're exhausted. Obsession grows stronger when you're exhausted. The more tired you are, the more obsession proves its strength, because it rises above every obstacle your body and mind put in the way to the outsider. Obsession looks insane. People will tell you to rest, to slow down, to balance your life, but they don't understand that balance does not create greatness. Obsession does. Balance creates mediocrity. Obsession creates mastery. You cannot build something extraordinary while living like everyone else. You cannot dominate a field, lead an industry, or transform your life by giving only the energy that is convenient. Obsession is what makes you different. It is what makes you relentless. It is what makes you unstoppable. When others stop for the night, you keep going. When others take a break, you keep grinding. When others quit, you refuse. That's obsession, and that's why tiredness loses every single time obsession turns pain into progress. The soreness you feel from training becomes a reminder of your dedication. The long nights of work become evidence of your hunger. The sacrifices you make become proof of your commitment. Every hour spent pushing beyond fatigue is another brick in the foundation of your greatness. Obsession gives meaning to the grind. It gives purpose to the struggle. It gives value to every sleepless night. Without obsession, the work feels like suffering. With obsession, the work feels like destiny. That's why obsession is stronger. It doesn't just fight tiredness. It transforms tiredness into fuel when you are obsessed. You don't count the hours of sleep you missed. You don't complain about how tired you are, because the vision in your mind is more powerful than the weakness in your body. You learn to train your mind to override your feelings. You learn to silence the voice that tells you to quit. You learn to embrace the discomfort because you know it is the price for becoming what you are meant to be. That mindset is rare, but it is the mindset of champions. The difference between someone who gives up and someone who rises is not strength. It is obsession. Strength alone cannot beat tiredness. Obsession can. Discipline alone cannot beat tiredness. Obsession can. Knowledge alone cannot beat tiredness. Obsession can. The truth is, tiredness will always show up. It is part of being human. You will feel drained. You will feel sore. You will feel exhausted. But obsession gives you the ability to keep moving anyway. It keeps you locked onto the vision so tightly that quitting never even becomes an option. Most people let tiredness make their decisions. They let it rule their actions. But those who are obsessed take tiredness as a challenge. They welcome it, they fight it, they dominate it, because they know that beyond tiredness lies greatness. Every rep done in exhaustion, every word written through fatigue, every idea developed in the middle of the night is proof that obsession is leading and tiredness is losing. Obsession builds momentum. At first it feels difficult to fight against tiredness, but once obsession takes hold, it becomes second nature. You don't hesitate, you don't debate, you don't ask yourself if you should rest. You simply keep going because the fire inside doesn't allow you to do otherwise. That momentum carries you through weeks, months, years of hard work, and while everyone else slows down or burns out, you only grow stronger. Obsession does not fade, it deepens, it intensifies, and it becomes the defining force of your life. When others look back on what they could have done, You look back on what you built, and the difference was simple. You allowed obsession to overpower tiredness. Champions are forged in the dark because greatness is not built in the spotlight. It is built in silence, in solitude, in the unseen hours. When no one is watching, the world only sees the result, the trophies, the victories, the moments of glory, but those moments are earned in the shadows where the work is done without applause, without recognition, without validation. It is in the dark that discipline is tested. It is in the dark that character is built. It is in the dark that champions are made. When the lights are off and the crowd is gone, when the noise disappears and it's just you and the grind, that's when your future is being shaped. Champions understand this. They know that the real battles are fought in the moments no one notices, the sacrifices no one sees, the hours no one counts. The dark is where you face yourself. There are no distractions, no excuses, just the raw truth of whether or not you are willing to push through. It is in those quiet moments where you must decide if you will continue or quit, if you will rise or settle. Champions choose to continue over and over again, and that choice builds strength that can't be broken. The world may never know how many hours you put in before dawn, how many late nights you endured, how many times you worked when you could have slept, but those hours are engraved in the results you bring to the surface. Every rep done alone, every drill done in silence, every page studied in solitude is a brick in the foundation of greatness. Champions are not created on the stage, they are revealed on the stage. The creation happens in the dark, behind closed doors, when they are grinding through pain, fatigue, and doubt. They don't wait for motivation, they don't need an audience, they don't require approval. They push themselves when no one cares, because they know that one day the world will care. The dark is their training ground, the place where they suffer in silence so they can shine in public. While others are chasing recognition, champions are chasing mastery, and mastery is built in those hidden hours that the average person wastes. The dark demands honesty. You can't fake work when you're alone. You can't pretend to be committed when it's just you and the grind. Either you put in the effort or you don't. Either you give everything or you quit. Champions use the dark as a crucible, a place to strip away weakness and replace it with strength. They are not afraid of the silence. They embrace it, because they know the silence is proof that they are doing what most people refuse to do. The dark becomes a place of transformation, where pain turns into progress, where doubt turns into belief, where struggle turns into power. Champions are forged in the dark because the dark builds resilience. When you train in silence, you learn to push without reward, without recognition, without anyone telling you good job. You learn to rely on your own drive, your own vision, your own hunger. That kind of resilience is unshakable. It cannot be destroyed by setbacks. It cannot be weakened by failure. It cannot be broken by fatigue. When the spotlight finally arrives, when the pressure is at its highest, champions are calm because they have already endured worse in the dark. They have already fought battles no one saw. They have already conquered challenges no one else knew existed. The dark prepared them for the light. Most people want the glory without the grind. They want the recognition without the sacrifice, but it doesn't work that way. The dark exposes pretenders and builds warriors. Pretenders quit when no one is watching. Warriors keep going. Pretenders wait for motivation. Warriors create their own fire. Pretenders hide from the struggle. Warriors live in it. That is why champions are rare, because few are willing to live in the dark long enough to be forged into something unbreakable. The dark is lonely, but that loneliness is a gift. It forces you to focus. It forces you to dig deep. It forces you to rely on yourself. It is in that loneliness that you find your true strength, because there is no one to carry you, no one to push you, no one to lift you up. You learn to carry yourself, to push yourself, to lift yourself up. That self-reliance becomes your greatest weapon, because once you know how to fight alone in the dark, nothing in the light can intimidate you. Champions understand that the dark is not punishment, it is preparation. Every early morning, every late night, every moment of pain, every hour of exhaustion is sharpening them, shaping them, molding them into something the world cannot ignore. The dark is where discipline is carved into their soul, where consistency becomes a habit, where sacrifice becomes second nature. They don't avoid the dark, they seek it out because they know it is the only path to greatness. Champions are forged in the dark because the dark strips away everything unnecessary. It takes away the noise, the distractions, the approval of others, and it leaves you with only two things, your vision and your will. If your vision is weak, you quit. If your will is weak, you stop. But if both are strong, you rise, and every time you rise in the dark, you become stronger, harder, more relentless. By the time the spotlight shines on you, you are no longer the same person who entered the shadows. You are the champion that was forged. Their sleepless nights are the price of success, because every dream that has ever been realized was paid for in hours of sacrifice when the rest of the world was resting. Success does not care about your comfort. It does not care about how much rest you want. It only cares about how much you are willing to give up to earn it. Those who chase success understand that the nights spent awake working, grinding, pushing forward are not wasted. They are invested. Each sleepless night is a deposit into the future you are building, a down payment on the life you want. The world belongs to the ones who are willing to stay awake while others sleep, who are willing to pay with fatigue, with exhaustion, with the willingness to push through when their body is begging for rest. Sleepless nights are where battles are fought and victories are earned. They are the nights when you stay up learning a skill that others ignore, the nights when you train your body past the point of comfort, the nights when you stay focused on building something while everyone else is lost in their dreams. Success is not found in the dream, it is found in the work, and that work often demands the hours when your body wants to shut down. The champions, the leaders, the innovators, the creators, none of them achieved greatness without those countless nights where they refused to surrender to sleep. They understood that their future mattered more than their pillow, their vision mattered more than their comfort, their goals mattered more than their rest. Sleepless nights are not glamorous. They are filled with fatigue, with heavy eyes, with aching bodies, with moments of doubt. But those nights are where you prove how badly you want it. Anyone can work when they feel good, when they feel rested, when everything is convenient. But working when you are tired, pushing when you want to stop, staying awake when every part of you is screaming to rest, that is what separates the average from the extraordinary. That is where success is bought, in those moments of struggle that no one else sees. The world never applauds your sleepless nights, but those nights are the foundation of the applause you will one day earn. Sleepless nights teach you resilience. They teach you how to operate under pressure, how to keep moving when your energy is gone, how to focus when your mind is clouded. They build a toughness that cannot be broken, because once you have endured exhaustion and kept going, there is nothing else that can stop you. The more you push through those nights, the stronger you become, and the stronger you become, the closer you move toward success. Every sleepless night is a test, and every time you pass that test, you prove to yourself that you have what it takes to achieve something extraordinary. People will never understand the sacrifices you make in the dark. They will see your results, your success, your victories, but they will not see the nights you stayed awake building them. They will not see the hours of study, the hours of practice, the hours of grinding when your body begged you to rest. That's why they call it luck, because they never saw the price you paid. But you will know, and deep down, you will carry the pride that comes from knowing you gave everything. Sleepless nights are invisible to the world, but they are the most visible proof of your hunger to yourself. Sleepless nights are not just about hard work, they are about obsession. They are about being so locked into your vision that you cannot rest until you've taken one more step forward. You lie awake, not because you want to suffer, but because your mind refuses to stop chasing the goal. That hunger is what makes sleepless nights powerful. It is not punishment, it is proof of commitment. When your obsession drives you, sleepless nights become less about what you lose and more about what you gain. Every hour spent awake, working, grinding, is another step closer to the life you imagine. Success demands that kind of obsession, and sleepless nights are the evidence that you have it. Sleepless nights also separate you from the pack. While others rest comfortably, you are outworking them, creating a gap they can never close. Success is about doing what others refuse to do, and nothing demonstrates that more than the willingness to sacrifice sleep for progress. Every extra hour you put in while others are resting becomes your edge. Every late night spent in discipline becomes your advantage. Every morning they wake up refreshed, you wake up further ahead. That's why sleepless nights are not wasted. They are compounding, stacking, multiplying into a future where you stand above the crowd because you were willing to pay a price they would not pay. Sleepless nights build momentum. The more you push through them, the more unstoppable you feel. You realize that fatigue cannot control you, that comfort cannot hold you, that excuses cannot define you, that momentum carries into every part of your life. You become the kind of person who shows up no matter what, who keeps going no matter how tired, who finishes the mission no matter how difficult. Sleepless nights carve that identity into you. They brand you with the mindset of a champion, the kind of mindset that does not bend to weakness or surrender to fatigue. Sleepless nights are proof that success demands everything. You cannot give half your energy, half your time, half your heart, and expect full results. You must give all of yourself, and that includes the hours the world says belong to sleep. You cannot buy success with comfort. You must buy it with sacrifice. And the currency of that sacrifice is sleepless nights. The more of them you are willing to give, the higher the price you are paying, and the higher the level of success you will reach. Every great achievement in history has been built on that same principle: the willingness to give up rest for results, the willingness to give up comfort for greatness, the willingness to pay with sleepless nights because the dream mattered more than sleep.